before we went there, their water was piped from the Chichoy River.
Okay.
And it was kept in open reservoirs, and you could see like fish, algae, and dirt. That would be what they drank. The project is based in Socorro, Guatemala, which is a community of about 450 people. So for me in high school, I was involved in a bunch of clubs that did fundraising, and then they'd pass the money on to organizations who would go and implement things like what we do with Engineering Without Borders. And so when I came to college and they presented it at my orientation, it seemed like a cool way to kind of cut out the middleman and see what actually goes on.
Rotavirus is the big one. It's the big diarrheal disease for young children. I think it's the biggest killer worldwide. I think it's like 600,000 children die from rotavirus every year. So we put in Biosand filters. The idea was to give each household a Biosand filter, which is pretty much like, it's a filtration unit you can have in your house, and you can use it every day to clean the water that you drink immediately. So it's a good alternative to having like a centralized system, is to just, clean the water in your house. So we had construction workers making the filters. We had different engineering NGOs come in and check up on progress. We also went and kind of instructed them on stuff. A big element of the project too was just education, so showing people how to use the filters, how to maintain the filters, proper hygiene practices too, just like washing your hands and stuff. It's not going to make a difference having clean water if you're still not being very hygienic. So it was a big thing with education and then implementation of filters then. It's not a huge downside, but one of the things that we didn't like about Biosand filters when we were going through the options of point-of-use treatment was that it doesn't remove viruses extremely effectively. It's 70 to 90% removal is what's been found in the field, which is good, but it's not great. And so we wanted to have a change to the filter design that would remove viruses. And so putting zero-valent iron, so just like any ungalvanized iron into the filter, we found can remove viruses up to like way surpassing EPA and WHO standards. So we've been getting like 99.99999% removal. And so that's kind of something that we're continuing to research, and we're actually trying to move some of that research into Guatemala so we can use actual source water.
Okay.
So, stuck with me. I think it's kind of, when you do development projects, you kind of go into it with the idea that everybody is going to be like just happy to see you, or like, if you give somebody something, there's this impression that people will always take it and use it. And that's a major problem with a lot of development projects, with a lot of like Biosand filter projects specifically, is people just like some organizations expect that they can just give people filters and they'll use it correctly and they'll like to use it and they'll be happy and healthy. And so when you go there, you kind of realize that it's not so easy. You can have a project that gets 150 filters out and none of them get used. I think a lot of it was just realizing that it's not so easy and it's not such like a one-sided thing. You can't just give people something. You have to know how people are going to take it and use it.
So the thing about Biosand filters in general is that they really want you to stress going back and re-educating the community.
Oh, okay.
Lots of times they'll just be small things that like we've done experiments in our lab and we just see them and we kind of know what to do.
Yeah.
But if you're unfamiliar with the system, then it would be, it just wouldn't be as obvious. Like maybe if your filter is going slow, then you have to clean it. And so we've read about it, and we know that to do that, but maybe there they wouldn't.
Because I think that's where we face the most challenges, almost always, is just being able to communicate with people in the right way, or understanding what the needs of people are. So, but from what we've seen, everybody, almost without exception, that's used the filter, even if they had, those problems with iron taste and stuff, they've all said that they had an improvement in health, and they saw an improvement in their kids' health. And that's something that was also told to us by some of the medical workers in the area, was that they'd all seen a reduction of diarrheal disease and disease in general from the filter. So that was really reassuring.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to see that when you go to a community too, I mean, you don't really get to see people on the toilet, so it's good to hear people say it, yeah.
I'm Vijesh Tanna. I'm a junior in material science and engineering.
And I'm Tony Straub. I'm a senior in environmental engineering and science.